It has been making its rounds that Scooby-Doo is now gay. They have now introduced the LGBT in Scooby-Doo by making Velma a lesbian. And Scooby-Doo is for kids. This is completely for kids. This is a show that has been around and something that has been created, is under Hanna-Barbera. These are two people who are Jews and, belong to an era, and these are people who their principles would never permit such a thing. But now the company that owns the rights over their works and probably also their estates, the descendants of Joseph, Will, Hannah, and Joseph Barbara, I believe that is the combination of their names, they seem to be okay with this. When you look at, for example, the trailer from HBO Max, under it says Velma is an adult animated comedy series telling the origin story of Velma Dinkley. So this is how they are trying to spin it, that it's for adults. But it's Scooby-Doo. How can you make Scooby-Doo for adults? And a lot of parents don't know this. A lot of parents just put their kids in front of the television, it's cartoons. They think it's safe. But we are living in a new era where it's all about propaganda. It is sad. First of all, let's see what this trailer says.
Dear HBO Max.
And so when your kid comes back and says that they are gay or they have gay tendencies or whatever, this is where it comes from. You can push people in a direction when you keep pushing this kind of messages. Why was America a Christian nation once? Because that was the predominating thing that was available. So when people were born, you were born in a situation where the community you were born in was built around a church. It was Judeo-Christian values that were in the Constitution and are still in the Constitution that created the laws, the 10 Commandments in the Supreme Court. All those kind of things, the whole society was based out of that. So when you change all these things and replace it with something else, when you take out God from all these things, what are you replacing it with? Clearly, it's being replaced with Satanism. When this thing starts being replaced with satanic principles or LGBT and all kinds of nonsense that have nothing to do with, actually helping people, what do you expect to see? And there's something I've been talking about for years. All television, all media, now more than ever, is propaganda. And this is why I keep emphasizing the importance of Christians owning the networks. The importance of Christians making movies. I said every church, their general department should become their movie studio. Your choir, music studio. Let that turn your choir into a music record label. Give people in your church music record deals, propagate the gospel. We must have industries because now it's a war of industries. We have a situation where Facebook, Google, all these multi-billion-dollar companies are aligning themselves with ideologies and beliefs that they are pushing on people. Oh, rainbow flag this, rainbow flag that. When they are pushing, oh, we don't want Trump, oh, we don't want this political ideology, oh, we want abortion, oh, we have to fight against those who think abortion is wrong. When a company that has that much money, that controls what people see online, when we have to fight against that, you can see that the format of just preaching to people and building churches left, right, and center, which they can shut down with pandemics, which they have demonstrated. Churches were closed, but people were still allowed to go to clubs. People were still allowed to come out and protest Black Lives Matter and all that nonsense. That has been proven to be a scam. Time and time again, we have seen about the Patrick Scholars, mansions and all that. There are people who are still pushing Black Lives Matter, and it reflects badly on the IQ of dark-skinned people, because people now look at these dark-skinned people, even though they may not say it out. That is how they are looked upon, as foolish and easy to manipulate. But let's get into this trailer. We'll talk more later.
I just learned you intend to make a genre-bending comedic origin story of Judy Jetson. When I heard this new version of Judy Jetson wouldn't be boy crazy, the only word I had to describe my disgust is jinkies. If there is one thing the internet agrees on, it's that you should never change anything ever. I hope you die. Sincerely, Velma. Well, at least Judy's still white.
You see that now they are taking jabs at people online who are against the race swapping. What if the race swapping was the other way around? The same people who are saying that it's no big deal to change white fictional characters into dark-skinned characters. The people who are saying it's no big deal. If it was the other way around, you will see the outrage. You will see all the, oh, it is racist, it is racist. Oh, why are you changing dark-skinned characters into white characters and all that? That is it goes without saying. But now it is the other way around. They are going with that rhetoric. And this trailer proves that they know how people respond. They know that people don't want to see this, but they are already preemptively making fun of it, even in the trailer. Showing you what their real motive is. They are not interested in profits. You know, it's been said, go woke, go broke. But the companies are not interested in that. You know, it is not about profit. It's about their ideology. It is about what they want to push on the people. You know, because their goal is to later get people acclimatized to it. It now becomes normalized and people are desensitized to all the LGBT programming. And it's not going to stop at LGBT programming. There's going to be programming on a lot of different issues and ideologies that we end up pushing Christianity completely out into background, and they are going to soon start even a more vocal. You have seen some attacks on Christianity where they say, oh, right-wing Christian conservatives. Why did they add Christian there? You know, Muslims do not agree with a lot of the things that they push on the left. Muslims do not agree with abortion. Muslims do not agree with LGBT in any way. As a matter of fact, they believe in killing LGBT folks, you know, straight up, you know. So why don't they say right-wing Muslim? Why don't they put other groups? There are a lot of atheists also. There are atheists who do not like LGBT stuff. You know, why don't they put them in that group? But it's to target Christians. They want to paint Christians as, oh, if you're a Christian, you know, it is only Christians that hate gays. The only people that are or disapprove of gays, you know, is Christians. Christians don't hate gays in reality. We disapprove of that whole homosexuality nonsense, and we want them to repent. That is it, you know. So they paint this picture of, oh, if you're a woman, you have to be Democrat. If you are dark-skinned, you have to be Democrat. Otherwise, you hate yourself. If you are dark-skinned and you are pro-Republican, you hate yourself, or, you know, you are ignorant, or you're a racist, bigot, all kinds of things. They did the same thing the Nazis did, you know, the Hitler did to create one party. You know, the Nazis did this to create one party. Mussolini did this to create one party. Oh, you have to belong to our political party. Every other political party is against us, is against the country, is against what we believe, is against humanity and all of that. They demonized Jews so much. It now was like, oh, you are it was wrong in their eyes if you liked Jews or if you cared about Jews. And that is the demonization that we are seeing going on, that the left is doing to the right. And people don't see that it is history repeating itself all over again.
Unknown caller. Spooky. Hello? Velma Dinkley speaking.
Hello, Velma. Do you like solving mysteries?
Yeah, but I'm actually much more three-dimensional than that. Who is this?
That's the mystery. And solve it quick, because I'm in your house.
A serial killer calling from inside my house? Yes, that's a classic, and that's my point. Why change anything when the classics all still work, right?
See what they are saying. So they are making fun of people who, you know, are going to criticize the changes that they are making to the story, and it's like, oh, why? So they are trying to make it look like if you are against all these changes they are making, you are backwards, you are against change, you know, that you are a cake, you are old school. That is how, you know, you are ancient. You should be forgotten with the past. You know, you are not modern. You have not gotten with the times. And that is how they also like to cast Christianity. So they are like, oh, why change anything if the classics always work? But they know what they are doing. They are changing the whole structure towards their propaganda. We see a situation. That is why, you know, there have always been the argument of why don't they just create dark-skinned characters? Or those who say, why don't they create new series with LGBT characters? They know that in most cases, most people won't go for that. That won't work. But the most important thing is that it's a replacement. It is a replacement of one culture with another culture. So if they try to create a separate culture, it goes against the entire point of what they are doing. They want to uproot the current culture and embed their own. They want a situation where, because these are things that the globalists are behind, and the future is now in organizations like the UN. That is where the power is. It's not about becoming the head of a nation or trying to get control of one country, or being the president or the king of one country. No. The future is in organizations like the UN, the EU, the World Bank, these global organizations that claim to be for humanity and for the planet, that have powerful people that are not elected by any human people. They are not democratically elected, yet they tell president and leaders what to do. They are always holding forums and telling people what to do. And that is what the head of the World Economic Forum discovered. He saw what the Council of Foreign Relations are doing, and the UN and all this, and he created an organization so that all these other organizations listen to, that all these other countries listen to. And he says, it's for the good of this country and that country. And because democracy has a flaw, the so-called democratic system is not true democracy, because people do not vote for policies. You vote for who is going to enter office. And when that person enters office, they can do whatever they want. And a lot of times it is what the people don't want. They do things that are against what they promised they will do. So the whole democratic thing is an illusion. The current democracy that the world thinks it has is an illusion. We've never had democracy in this world, in any part of the world. It's foolishness. How many times have you, time and time again, you deceiving yourself that you have democracy? Democracy should be of the people, for the people, by the people. How is it of the people, for the people, and by the people when, first of all, for you to run, you have to come from certain families. You have to have money behind you, a lot of money. That is a fact. If the richest people, the people who have the most money in your country, do not back you, you are never going to win an election in a democratic country. So how is it democracy? Because it is all about a face for the richest people and the most powerful people and influential people. That is the fact. If you don't have money behind you, Donald Trump was the only difference, and Donald Trump still had money behind him. But even though Hillary spent more money on her campaign, than Donald Trump, you have to understand that there was a shift in the internet. People did not see that, Donald Trump did things like online advertising and all of that that was more effective. He got more bang for his buck, basically. And of course his message was resonated with a lot of people, and unlike Hillary, who was a terrible person to campaign against Trump, because she had a lot of baggage with her. Hillary is associated with basically almost every evil thing that previous American presidents and leaders have done, so that seriously worked against her. But of course, you can see situations of buying elections and doing all kinds of different things. And now, everybody taking their campaign online and knowing how to strategically advertise and all of that, use algorithms to manipulate people. And when, the social media networks already have candidates that they support, because it's like, the other candidate is conservative, or the other candidate is not pro-LGBT or pro-abortion or pro-whatever, you have a problem there. So they censor and they banned Trump. They banned Trump, kicked him off of Twitter, Facebook, and all of that. You can imagine that. So you can see, if they did that, what made you think that they were not doing worse things before that? And they still do all kinds of censorship, And that being said, I've always said this is a war and a battle that we should take seriously. If we do not understand the reality of how the world has changed, the future, the World Economic Forum has seen that kind of organization, when you have that kind of organization, that is where power is. And Putin, if, someone gives this message to Putin, if what he should do, is that, first of all, he needs to understand that as long as he doesn't have or doesn't see that the world has changed and he has to have his own EU, get countries together, form your own kind of EU, your own cluster of countries that will form trade unions and all of that. As long as you do not do that, you are in trouble, because you are just one nation. The world has moved. The world has moved. The power is now in the hands of whoever controls those kinds of organizations that have influence over the most powerful people in different nations. Look at how the World Health Organization almost made every country sign over their rights of action. In other words, if the World Health Organization say everybody must wear masks, wherever the people say it in different nations would have been null and void. Democracy would have been put out of effect in the name of the swift response to future pandemic, whatever. They wanted to create a treaty. The World Health Organization wanted to create a treaty, and some nations were intelligent enough to shut it down and say, no, we are not going to be a part of this. So the things did not pass on. And, thank God, Pastor Chris Economy highlighted that, it was prayed about. So these things, those kinds of organizations, imagine that kind of power. Look at, for example, in Nigeria, there are currently folks are running for president, Peter Obi, Tinubu, and, Atiku, all these folks. But guess what? All these people bow down to the UN. All these people bow down to the World Health Organization. Whatever the World Health Organization says, these people will obey. Whatever the UN says, whatever the African Union, whatever the World Economic Forum says, they obey. That is how they have conned Africa and told Africa, for the sake of sustainability, the world cannot sustain itself. Stop using your resources. So give us your resources. We will help you manage it properly. That is a fact. And that is what is happening. Africa, by rights, is the wealthiest, in reality, is the wealthiest continent in the world. But it is the poorest because of this foolishness that has made, the dollar more powerful. Another thing that Putin should do is that now that he has started, shifted away from trading with the dollar, he needs to make people start trading with, the Russian, ruble or whatever. He needs to think of that, or create a cluster, his own version of the World Economic Forum. Let them create a new currency that is backed on gold, because the dollar is not backed on gold, and the dollar is based on manipulating the whole world and controlling the whole world for the purposes of the New World Order, which are typically forerun by the World Economic Forum, the Rockefeller Foundation, all those type of guys, So that is another thing. Another thing is that I know Putin he doesn't speak English. He can speak English better than any English speaker, but he chooses to speak only Russian, and that is patriotic and all of that, showing his country. But how many people, what has he done to make sure that people in other countries speak Russian? English is a universal language. Why doesn't he make Russia a universal language, the Russian language? These are the kind of things that he has to do. So when he does that, he will create a cluster of protection, around him. And now there are people who will be wondering, why am I talking like this? Because they have been they have been given a lot of information to make Putin look like the villain of the world. But the reality of the matter is that we already have bigger villains, in the World Economic Forum and all that. Look at the pandemic that they created. Look at, has COVID been completely erased from the world? The same way COVID is in the world today, the same way it was then. How come, there were measures then and there are not measures now, and everything is fine? It means that everything could have been fine all along. But look at all the lies and all the propaganda, and look at all the wealth that have been shifted into the hands of just a tiny percentage, which is what socialism does. It makes all the wealth, it shifts all the wealth into the hands of a tiny, small fraction of a 1%, very, very small, just to a handful of people. And then the rest of the people enjoy equal poverty. That is what socialism, communism, and all the democratic socialism that people are pushing is going to create and provide. And that is also why before capitalism, you could see in the era of kings, like, for example, when you look at a lot of the past leaders, that controlled and had so much power. That is they controlled basically what to produce, how to produce, and when to produce. The civilization was poor, but capitalism shifts the power of what to produce, when to produce, and how to produce to the people. So things are subject to the market. But of course, there are laws that are put in place in capitalism that could work against the concept of capitalism or actually advance it. But that would be a topic for another day. That being said, the reason why Putin has to do is that he's in a position where he can break out, and it creates an alternative, because right now the whole world is going into a situation where everything has to bow to the UN and the UK. Understand that if you have a problem with what Putin did, Putin going into Ukraine, ask yourself, why haven't you heard anything about what Putin has said about it? You have only heard outsiders, what outsiders have said. Did you know that he had terms of peace? Ukraine was to remain neutral. All the US missile bases and the US military labs, that were in Ukraine were to be kicked out of Ukraine, and that would have, if that happened, there would never have been a war. Before the war started, that was on the table. But first of all, NATO renegade on a previous deal, and they disagreed to this one. That is the truth. Putin has been putting forward terms of peace, but they have been kicking it out. Now, now you may say, why did Putin invade Ukraine? Why wouldn't he? If Russia was to use Puerto Rico as a nuclear missile base or any sort of missile base, do you think that America will not do everything they can to get that out of Puerto Rico, considering the proximity of Puerto Rico to the US? As a matter of fact, Puerto Rico is part of the US. So this is something that you have to think about. Look at all the atrocities that have been committed by the US. Look at all the countries that America has invaded. Why haven't you taken the same measures against America that America is taking against Putin and Russia? And keep in mind that in different parts of the world, there are other things like that are being done, but the UN doesn't do anything about it, because the purpose of the UN and, these organizations that claim to be for the people, and the Democrat Party is basically to help a few people in the New World Order and, this World Economic Forum guys, these fellows, help them create their vision of acquiring all the wealth and, basically creating, a new world based on their vision for the world, a transhumanist world, a world where they use technology, and technocracy to basically enslave the people in the name of, creating a better world, a more advanced world, a world that doesn't have Christ in it, or, people being able to live in line with Christianity or any other thing that they deem to be old and outdated and out-fashioned. So it's very important that there are alternatives, and Christians, we need to have our own version of the World Economic Forum, the UN and all of that. What gives the UN the right to be the UN and to call the shots? Why can't you and me, the Christians all around the world, we unite, start our own thing and influence politics? Influence the halls of power, the corridors of power, because these things won't stop. This is the propaganda they are pushing on your kids now, and on the world. Imagine this is being pushed in schools, is being pushed in movies, in cartoons, in video games. All kinds of woke ideologies. That is why your children no longer believe in God. And you are praying, you are going to church praying, God, let my children, I'm praying for the salvation of my family. Back in the day, people did not pray for the salvation of their family. Reality. Because the society itself did not lean itself to non-Christian ideologies. So that was not the prayer point. Nobody was praying, oh, I'm praying that my family will come to Christ. Oh, I'm praying that my family will start attending church. Oh, I'm praying that my family members will start believing in God. Those prayers did not exist. Those prayers did not exist because God was not taken out of school. God was not taken out of society, and, the influence of non-Christian television was not strong, and, especially when you look at before television came into play, Christians not taking the forefront and being the ones who were making the sitcoms, the movies, and all of that when television came is a big problem. Also, the same thing in video games. When any new technology, all these changes, anything that an ideology can be communicated with, a story should be communicated with, you have to input yourself there and be the lead. Christians have to be the one leading that form of communication when it comes to content that is moved. Otherwise, other people will do it. As a matter of fact, the mere fact that the light of the world is not involved in it means that what is there is darkness. But let's just get to the end of this trailer.
Wait, you're inside my house!
So that is that trailer. Now let's watch this video. That really goes into more detail on the whole situation. This is sad, and this is what I've been saying for a long time. Some of you were like, oh, why is he talking like this, blah 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 blah. You think that Christians must control all of entertainment, this and this. If Christians don't control all of entertainment, it is the devil and the Antichrist spirit that will clearly use it and create this crazy world where you see the argument of this day and age is who is a man versus who is a woman. People don't know who a man is and who a woman is. That all kinds of foolishness. And when people are distracted arguing over this nonsense that is degrading to shows how society has been corroded and is decaying. We have the people that nobody is looking at that are doing all kinds of things to destroy society. Look at the famine that Bill Gates is cooking the world up for, to kill people. The pandemic did not kill as much people as Bill Gates hoped would be killed. Now he's buying up land, and they are creating all kinds of laws, putting all kinds of laws on farmers, so that farmers will have to sell their land to the bigger corporation. And now the food of the world will now be controlled by just the select people. It's funny. And when they say tax, when they are increasing taxes, it's not Bill Gates' taxes that are increased. It is not the members of the World Economic Forum taxes that are increased. Because keep in mind that as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is tax exempt. Understand that taxes are for the poor and middle class. The rich, the super rich, the really rich, and the richer you get, the less taxes you pay. That is the truth, and it will always be that way. So that is just the fact. So when they are increasing taxes, the taxes are felt by the lowest people, the people with the lowest amounts of money. That is reality. And that is why you can see certain billionaires putting money behind people who are pushing for tax increase, because it is not their own themselves that are paying taxes. They understand money and have all kinds of protections around their money. So their money is being increased. As a matter of fact, the taxes are being paid to them. When you pay taxes, the money goes somewhere. The government already have deals and places where the cash flow that the government collect goes. So these people are strategically put there. So basically, when you are paying taxes to the tiny, tiny percent that are within the 1%.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. There is a new Scooby-Doo movie. It came out on October 4th of this year. It is on HBO Max. It is called Trick or Treat, Scooby-Doo. And fans are very excited because, y'all, Scooby-Doo has gotten just a little bit gayer. But before we get into...
So apparently this one is different from the trailer. It could be a different series. So it's like they're making different ones. This is basically a different show. Still Scooby-Doo. So this one is Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo. Then the trailer that we watched is Velma, a new series. So that one just goes on full on gay. So basically the Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo was to make a movie that pushed forth the Velma being gay stuff and pushing it out, a movie and like showing the whole change. Then the series now is going to be Velma. So that is what the series is. You can see how these people are strategic with their planning and what they are doing. So when you see the Supergirl, that it's all about hating men. When you see the stuff like the She-Hulk, all these stupid nonsense that they do, and in spite of the fact that the audiences, the people are against it, they will not condemn it. Oh, it's the internet. Oh, it is racist. Oh, it is men who hate women. Oh, it is folks who are misogynistic, and oh, it is conservatives. Oh, it is Christians. All kinds of stuff like that. That is how they push it. But these are the people. These are the audience. Who starts a business and creates products that the audience says they do not want. That the customer says they do not want, but they still push it. They have what they want to do. They want to demonize and ban the creation of any entertainment that doesn't go with their ideology. And their hope is that with time, people will acclimatize and get used to it, because who likes to be called a bigot? So that is what they are hoping for. But this is also an opportunity for, like, a Christian, we can go in, as in me and you, we can partner together, work together, create a whole slew of entertainment, movies, video games, cartoons, all of that. Because this is a big void they are leaving. They are going against what the people want. The people want normal, the people want traditional values, but they are pushing LGBT, transgenderism, all kinds of nonsense that the people are protesting against. The people don't want this. So this is an opportunity. We have to move in now and go in full force, create strong and powerful entertainment, fill up all these spaces so that they, even if they want to return, they will have no space to return. And when they are going super broke, we buy up their companies, buy the rights to the trademarks, their properties, and Christianize the world. They want to gayify the world and fagotify the world. We are going to Christianize it,
just a little bit gayer. But before we get into this story, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. And of course, you can go to dailywire.com/Brett to check out my merch collection. With how fast I blow through those things, that actually makes me sound like Ben. It's not helping the conspiracy that we're actually the same person.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
But anyway, this article came out on Variety yesterday morning. They said Velma is officially a lesbian in the new Scooby-Doo film, years after James Gunn and more tried to make her explicitly gay. Yay, rainbow applause. The Pride people have won. Now, I have never watched Scooby-Doo, literally ever. And I know that is basically a crime, and I get the same response when I say that I have never watched SpongeBob, but oh well. All I know about Scooby-Doo is that there is a dog, this gang of friends, gaggle, whatever. They go around and they solve crimes. They do mysteries. They go around, they're snooping. They're basically snooping around as much as big tech is snooping around on all of our internet activity, which is why you need ExpressVPN to protect you. Because it doesn't matter who your internet service provider is. They can legally sell your information to
her and her plugs, advertising her products, or what she's paid to advertise. But let's keep that.
/Cooper. And that'll help you make sure that no gay Velma is snooping on your internet activity. But apparently, gay Velma is not really a new thing, and they've actually been trying to do this for years. Back in 2020, James Gunn, who wrote some of the early live-action films, tweeted this in reply to a fan who was asking about why Velma couldn't be lesbian, and he said, "I tried. In 2001, Velma was explicitly gay in my initial script, but the studio just kept watering it down, becoming ambiguous, the version shot, and then nothing, the released version, and then finally having a boyfriend in."
I see, and a lot of people missed it. I missed it too. I didn't see that was, what he was trying to do. I don't even think I recall. I don't even know which particular one of the Scooby-Doos he's talking about. I think maybe if it's the first movie, from way back, I remember that bit. There was nothing out that suggested this, but it shows these people, this is what they do. When you put them in positions where they are the school teacher, they want to push their LGBT ideology on the students. When you put them in a position where they work in Hollywood, they want to push their LGBT ideology. It's only Christians that do not believe in pushing our ideology in different positions. We believe we have been fed and believe the lie that it is just the preacher, and the preacher should do it from pulpits. Don't talk about so-called religion or politics in public. But look at the world that we are living in now. People are banned from promoting Christianity. Christianity have been kicked out of everywhere, and now the politics everywhere is, if this person wears a MAGA hat, you can disrespect them. If this person is conservative, you can do all kinds of things to them in public. So we bought a lie. And that is why it's important to live by the word of God. If we had stuck by the word of God, we'll say that it's important for us to preach, and preach everywhere. Going into all the world and preach the gospel. All the world refers to all the world. The world of entertainment, is not just nations, countries, every single world. The business world, the educational world, every world. Anywhere that there are ideologies or there is communication, the gospel should be there. Otherwise, it will be used by the devil
in the sequel. And then Tony Trivone, who is a producer on the TV show, replied to a fan's comment also in 2020 emphasizing this fact. He said, "I've said this before, but Velma in Mystery Incorporated is not bi. She's gay. We always plan on Velma acting a little off and out of character while she was dating Shaggy because that relationship was wrong for her and she had unspoken difficulty with the Y. There are hints about the Y in that episode with the mermaid, and if you follow the entire Marcy arc, it seems as clear as we could make it 10 years ago. I don't think that Marcy and Velma had time to act."
This particular one where Velma was to have a relationship with Shaggy, I vaguely remember that, I don't remember the full storyline of that.
On their feelings during the main timeline, but post-reset, they are a couple. You cannot like it, but that was our intention. Neither of these men created Scooby-Doo or had any real sway outside of their individual projects. So that's just something to note. It kind of feels like these guys are just trying to hop on the bandwagon and virtue signal. Like, look at me, I was so progressive and stunning and brave like 10 or 20 years ago. I tried, I really did it. Shut up, go tweet about something else. I really don't care. However, fans also do not care. Gay Twitter is losing it because they are so excited. This person tweeted out and said, "All of lesbian Twitter about Velma Dinkley right now. I mean, she is a lesbian icon." Somebody else said, "Lesbian Velma finally becoming a canon in October. Halloween really is a gay people only event." That's nice. We love discrimination here. Velma being gay is actually massive. We are at a point in time where this major character full of decades-old history and fans gets to actually be a lesbian, and that's just another part of her canon now. Sometimes we need to celebrate these wins.
If this is what they want to do, then why can't we start changing other characters and make them Christian and demand that they should be Christian? And we as Christians stop buying, let us start boycotting the world. They want to put rainbow flag on every countries, on every company. Every company wants to put rainbow flag. They fly rainbow flag at embassies. Let them fly the Christian flag. Let them fly the banner of the cross. Otherwise, we, back off. We back out. Supporting them or basically giving them money or whatever. This is something that is very important. After all, Christians are the most discriminated against throughout human history. Why isn't, since it is about so-called, supporting those who are the LGBTQ are so-called discriminated? No, the LGBTQ are the biggest bullies. They are the least discriminated group. They are the group that can do anything, get away with anything, and bully anybody. That is what the LGBT group is. So we must call things as they are, and we must be realistic. If they want to play this game, we have to go back and let them make all of every character. Let them make, Ashley a Christian. I think there's even somebody from Spire Comics who made, a Christian version of Ashley. Let them make Ashley a Christian. Let them make Spider-Man a Christian. Let them make Batman a Christian. Let them make Superman a Christian. Let them make every single character a Christian. If this is what they want to do, let them input a Christian story arc, a pro-Christian story arc into every single movie and every single series throughout history. Since they want to start going back and changing every single Hollywood character or every Hollywood franchise and putting homosexuality, putting homosexual characters and putting homosexual, pro-homosexual, story arcs within them. And changing the canon of these characters. Let's Top Cat have Christians among, his gang. Let's Tom and Jerry be Christian. Let all these folks be Christian. Let's do that if that is what they want to do, because if this is how they are thinking, which is how they obviously think and what they plan to do, why can't we demand that they push Christian content in all this? Reverse, make Aladdin a Christian, make the Cinderella a Christian, do all that.
I feel like every win is like massive to them. Like, oh, this is like huge. This is huge progress. Okay, not everything can be huge progress. Somebody else said, Velma is a lesbian. She's not bi and has been confirmed by multiple Scooby-Doo writers and directors that she is a lesbian. Stop trying to erase lesbian rep. I love when there's fighting within the community. It's like the bis want her, but the lesbians also want her. It's like, you can't have her. It's like, guys, calm down, please.
Oh, you want Civil War? Is that what you want? Yeah, dude, it's Civil War. You.
Here are a couple clips from the movie, and I apologize in advance, but we're going to watch a lot of them because I have a point to make.
And as promised, here are your Scooby snacks.
I didn't know convicted felons were your type.
What? Type? Me? Please. Who has time for a type? We have our work cut out for us, and I am focused like a laser on... Okay, who am I kidding? I'm crushing big time, Daphne. What do I do? What do I say?
I think it's time we pay a visit to our old pal, Coco Diablo.
I love that idea!
I mean, it's completely logically sound. Well, look who it is. Jinkies.
Okay, so my question is, in this movie, does Velma do anything other than gawk over fill-in Coco, hot lesbian Coco, whatever her name is? Have they totally reduced her to just a love-struck lesbian to try to prove a progressive point? I don't know if y'all know about the Bechdel test, but it was created in the 80s as a way to determine whether a movie was feminist enough. And in order to pass the Bechdel test, there must be two female characters that are having a conversation that is about something other than a man and romance and crushing on people and all of that. Now, in its own progressive way, it feels like this is failing the Bechdel test. Like, she's not talking about a man, but they are making her entire character identity to be her sexuality and the fact that she can't stop swooning over this hot chick. That's not empowering. Again, here's another clip.
I'm sure that Coco made some brilliant observations in the encounter we just had. The cute one's right. Esteban, show them my brilliant observation.
Literally, I did not see one repeat clip on lesbian Twitter when they were all celebrating this. They were all picking different parts of the movie, like, oh my god, no, I loved this part, I loved this part. Like, is the entire film just her making this face and having her glasses fog up because she's so in love? All she is doing is swooning. If you want to have a gay character, that's great. I literally have no problem with that. More power to you.
And you see this mentality that is in the conservative camp is not wise. First of all, we must change the mindset of people like this, and it's this kind of thing that creates an avenue for the devil and the LGBTQ whatever to come back in, because when you leave the door half open for the devil to put his foot in, he's not going to stop there. This idea of trying to be liked, or I'm not against you being gay. If you want to be gay, be gay. These people are against you being Christian. These people are against you being conservative. These people want to kill you, want to cancel you, for being conservative, for having Christian values. They want you to have zero money. They want to destroy every company you ever start. They want you to be fired from your job just because you are conservative, or you believe abortion is wrong. That is what these people are. So this mentality, it is like the idea of turning the other cheek. A lot of people don't understand what turning the other cheek means. Turning the other cheek just means forgive. It doesn't mean literally turning the other cheek. When somebody slaps you on one cheek, you turn the other cheek, let them slap you. And understand this, nobody that heard Jesus talk about turning the other cheek understood it to mean literally turning the other cheek. When somebody slaps you, you turn and then they slap the other cheek, because no disciple did it. Jesus himself never did it. There's no point in the Bible where Jesus was slapped or hit. Remember, he was flogged and then he turned the other side. Oh, you flogged this side, flogged this side. Even when, he was being flogged, and by his stripes you were healed. He didn't do that then. He didn't say, oh, you want to give me 1,000 lashes. Oh, why don't you give me 2,000 instead? He never did that. And there was no point where any of the disciples repeated, oh, when they want to put you in prison for being a Christian for 5 years, suggest that they give you 10 years instead, in tradition of turn the other cheeks. Nobody understood turn the other cheek the way people want to understand it today. Jesus used metaphors, just like when you look at the book of Psalms, a lot of metaphors and a lot of parables, Jesus used a lot of parables too. People think that metaphors, parables, words with different meaning, with deeper meaning, seem to be a new thing in literature. No, it has always been. So you have to understand it as that. If someone slaps you and you allow the person to keep slapping you, you will soon die. So that is foolishness, and we cannot extend the luxury of, oh, if you want to be gay, you can be gay. If you are gay, we are going to do everything we can to change society and change the world around you, so that you will walk out of it, so that you would see a path out of it. Saying that if somebody is gay, they can be gay, it's the same thing as say, oh, if you want to be a sinner, you can be a sinner. Oh, if you want to be a murderer, you can be a murderer. Because the reality of all these things is that, now I'm not comparing the magnitude of murder to homosexuality, but what I'm putting them on in the category of sin, which is where all those things belong. All of them will lead you to hell. And I'm saying that if you tolerate it, you are tolerating it. That means you are allowing it and it to expand. They do not tolerate you, in spite of the fact that you have done nothing wrong, and they will do everything they can to oppress you. So in a sense, they are slapping you, but you don't believe in slapping them back. You have to match them or go above and beyond what they are doing if you want to win. If two people are playing a sport and I'm playing only defense, you are playing offense and defense, you are going to win. That is a fact, because I'm playing only defense. Christians have for long played only defense. Sometimes they don't even believe in playing defense. They have now bought into the idea of, oh, if they play defense, they are being bigoted and all of that. So they don't even play defense. And so Christianity gets pushed out of everything. Christians lose their rights every single day, pushed out and treated like garbage, and at the detriment of the world. Look at what society has turned into. Kids are running around saying that they are men stuck in women's body and they are women stuck in body, running around saying that they are binary, non-binary, and what nonsense is that? Binary used to be a system of counting numbers, 0, 1, and all that kind of thing. Now people are saying that they are non-binary. There are people who are even identifying as frogs. And it's like, oh, of course, there are silly people who like to explain their non-binary by meaning, oh, that there is a binary system of it's either male or female, but by being non-binary, they are against that binary system of it is, they are either male or female. All kinds of foolish ideologies, thanks to saying no to Christ. When people have turned away from God, the more books they read and the so-called more knowledge they acquire, the more foolish they become, the more inhuman they become, and the more they go into darkness and chaos. So we must mash the devil, as in, if the devil is going to come at us with a knife, we cannot come at him with just bare fists. If Satan's people are coming with knives, we are not going to come with bare fists. If they are coming with guns, we are not going to come with knives. So by that I mean, if they are going to control the media and all of entertainment in this way, we cannot stick to we are not going to talk about Christianity in public. We are not going to push for Christianity in entertainment. For example, look at which Sanwat thing. this lady here now with the comment section. She is trying to, she is not conservative all the way, just like Ben Shapiro, but they have made him conservative all the way. You know, before he was not considered on the right, he was considered balanced. Then it was Alex Jones that was considered on the right. Then Alex Jones automatically became considered, and they pushed, you know, that he's alt-right. You know, and people like Ben Shapiro now are on the right. Now, anything you say that does not go according to left now means you're on the right. Even this lady, it's part of this her giving Satan his space, you know, in her in what she's doing, which some people think works. It doesn't. She is still censored, and a lot of her growth, she has millions of subscribers, but that is because she grew fast. And of course, she's with Ben Shapiro and all that. But without that platform, conservatives do not grow. And now, my point is that, for example, she her video on this whole Scooby-Doo fiasco. If you search for it on YouTube, in spite of the fact that she's a popular YouTuber, it's not one of the things that show. You have to write like Velma the comment section and look out, you know, she's not even number one. We have 2 other videos on top of her video. Even though it is clear that you're specifically looking for a video, you enter the name of her channel and then the name of the video. You see, so that is the reality of these things. When you look for, like, for example, Scooby-Doo gay, you search for it, her video doesn't show up. You see, so this is the reality of the things. And another thing is that she's white. So these are the kind of censorship that is happening, you know, on this networks, which is why I keep emphasizing we have to own our own YouTube, we have to own the Facebook, we have to own, you know, our own organizations, our own World Health Organization, our own WF and all of that, and influence politics. Look at the power that, you know, the globalists have used, the appearance of being pro-gay and all of that to gather so much influence over controlling politics in nations. You know, now women have been conned into believing that, oh, if you're a woman, you have to be Democrat, or you have to be pro-abortion, that somehow the people who are against abortion are men. That is foolishness. If anything, a lot of those kinds of men who are, you know, are actually for abortion, because that means that they don't have to pay child support and all of that. You know, but the reality of the matter is that when you look at all the anti-abortion organizations, they are led by women, and majority of their board are women. But of course, they are discounted. Just like when it comes to African Americans, if you are African American, you have to be Democrat. Otherwise, you are not a real African American. The Democrats who push this ideology don't see that they have created a system where if you have dark skin, you now have to have left-wing ideology and whatever new thing they put. Otherwise, you know, because now it has legitimized the discrimination of dark-skinned people. It has legitimized. It has made it now normal, you know, to discriminate against people of African descent in the name of fighting racism. Look at all the people that complain about BLM, who have dark skin and it has shown you know what good thing has BLM done. BLM has gathered money from everywhere and has used it to buy mansions for their founders. No grain of cereal has been put in any dark-skinned person's mouth thanks to BLM. BLM has done more destruction and has destroyed race relations more than anything else. You know, but there are still people who are like, oh, this person is against Black Lives Matter, all of that. You know, Kanye West is getting threatened over, you know, the White Lives Matter shit. This is sad. This is sad. You know, but that being said, remember what I've said and I've always said about what we must do. You know, right now we still have some time left and some ability, you know, to do this. You know, we have to take over entertainment and we have to start playing some of their games. The same way they are pushing for gay, so-called gay representation in these movies and all of that. We have to start pushing for Christian representation. Let them make Spider-Man Christian. Let them make, you know, start putting Christian story arcs, you know, in Batman, you know, Superman, you know, Tom and Jerry, you know, every new movie, you know, Wonder Woman, whatever new stuff they want to do. Start putting pro-Christian acts there. We are people too, you know. So this is a reality. You know, it is what it is. Make sure you check out Alfred.vip for more. Thank you and God bless you.
What you spread is what you get. Give your best, you'll get the best. Dress your best and people see the best. I'm on my parole. I'm on my parole. I'm on my parole. I'm on my parole. Parole with a suit, parole with the swag, parole with a can, parole with the stash, parole with a hat, parole with the class, parole with a stash, parole with the fast. I'm on my parole. I'm on my parole. I'm on my parole. I'm on my parole.
Say this prayer audibly if you've not given your heart to Jesus Christ. Dear God, I believe in my heart that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, came, died, and was raised from the dead to save me. I confess Him, Lord, over my life and ask You to give me Your Holy Spirit to live within me. I receive Your Spirit by faith and thank You for I am now born again. In Jesus' name, amen. If you just prayed that prayer, congratulations, you're now a Christian. Go to Alfred.vip and click the salvation prayer link in the main menu to get resources that will help you with your work with God. God bless you.